Thank you, Phil. Thank you to the state of Wisconsin AFL-CIO for allowing me to speak today. And I'd like to thank the Senate Democrats who fought like dogs this last week, not only in the This is also a rare opportunity to thank a Republican. And it's awful refreshing to see a Republican legislator who has the capability of independent thought and he has compassion for his constituents. I'm not up here to talk about stats, facts, and figures today. No doubt, each and every one of you could out-debate Speaker Fitzgerald on this issue. He hasn't had an original thought since he first took office. He doesn't do much without permission from his corporate masters. This bad for business, bad for worker legislation he sponsored was not even written by him. It was supplied to him word for word by the American Legislative Exchange Council. On top of that, he didn't even cite his sources. To me, that's the definition of plagiarism. I find it interesting that a certain character on a right-wing radio show in Milwaukee wrote a book about moochers in the workplace and where he denigrates citizens who are looking for a helping hand. Now he hypocritically advocates for workers to become moochers in their workplaces. Do we want to tolerate that?
No!
I can't hear you. Do we want to tolerate that? Another main proponent of the right to work is a lie legislation is the WMC, Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce. It's hard to find out who's affiliated and who has membership in this organization. It's kind of a secret society of businesses that support an organization that has nothing but contempt for us as working people.
Corporate clan.
If we find out who these affiliates are, we will be sure to let you know, so you can make an informed decision as to whether you want to do business or invest your capital in their companies. Why should we do business or invest capital with corporations that use that capital and turn around to cut us off at the knees? Now, right to work isn't a new issue. It's been around over 65 years. When the Taft-Hartley Act was passed, which would include the ability for individual states to have right to work, and that which circumvented the law providing for all members of the bargaining unit to pay their fair share. Since then, there's been a sustained and protracted attack on the body of labor. This legislation, which is a lie that is covered by a thin cloak of a claim of worker freedom. When we remove this cloak and see the bill for what it is, you see the body of labor suffering the death of 1,000 cuts, one scab at a time. Are we going to let this happen?
No!
Speaking of freedom, have you been to your workplace lately? The workplace is the least free environment you can be subjected to in your adult life. You have a democratic say on how things are done in a non-union shop?
No!
You're subject to the dictates of the boss. True freedom is a collective bargaining agreement. True freedom is a grievance procedure and just cause provisions to protect you from at-will employment. True freedom is having a seat at the bargaining table so you can help enjoy the profits that these companies reap. That being said, we're under no illusion that the majority in the Assembly is not responsive to their constituents. There will be no surprises when this rotten legislation becomes law. Where does that leave us? Brothers and sisters, it behooves us to become better union members, to become more more active in our union, from the top down, from the leadership to the stewards to the members. Are you with me?
Yeah!
Brothers and sisters, if we don't do this, we will die a death of 1,000 cuts, one scab at a time.
Yeah.
You might ask yourself, why would somebody scab in a union shop? I can only surmise it's ignorance and greed. As we improve our efforts in the labor movement, we can address the ignorance through active education. As we educate these free-riding employees, we can hope that as we peel away the veil of ignorance, the greed will be addressed through the realization and the importance of a unified, robust body of labor and an adequate sense of community.
Woo!
Almost done. Next thing, second to last thing, I'd like to encourage all union members to participate in the political process. Make sure you vote. Make sure you make voluntary contributions to your union's political funds. We've got to attack this situation one way or another. The system is corrupt with money. We have to do our part to have our voices heard. Finally, it's a great time for all the non-union people in this state and all your union workplaces to start organizing workers. This is a great time to become a Teamster. It's a great time to become a union member. To find out how, contact the labor union of your choice and ask how you can become a union member and be part of this great movement.
Yeah! Union! 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 Union!
Listening to me, I don't think I'd rather be any place on earth than sharing this day with my union brothers and sisters. Celebrate!